Hi, I'm Mike Roberts, president and founder of SpyFu. Today I'm going to show you how you can use SpyFu ad history to uncover the whole story on any keyword, and to use that information to start with a fully optimized ad campaign rather than wasting months on costly trial and error. SpyFu ad history really takes the guesswork out of writing great ad copy. For every keyword, we show you every domain and every ad variation they've ever written over the past 2 years. When we display that information in a certain way, it reveals a hidden narrative about that keyword and about the market as a whole. At a glance, you can see exactly who tried and failed, who succeeded, and for those that did succeed, how they tweak and improve their ad copy over time to elicit the best conversion rate. So at the end of the day, SpyFu ad history lets you start with a fully optimized ad campaign rather than spending months or years optimizing it via trial and error. So let's take a look.
Okay, first I'm going to give you a quick tour of ad history, and then I'm going to show you how to use it to see first of all whether a keyword is worth bidding on at all, that is it going to lead to conversions, and then how to seize on the best ad copy so that you're successful from day one. So let's get started. Let's take a look at the keyword free credit report. This is a pretty expensive keyword, particularly in terms of cost per day. I always make sure that I pay close attention to cost per day when I'm looking at ad history. People can fall asleep at the wheel on cheap keywords. They might ignore a keyword that loses them a couple bucks a day, but they won't on the ones that cost them a couple thousand. At least they won't for very long. Anyway, at somewhere between $600 and $12,000 a day, we can be pretty sure that vanity buying or lazy analyst fluff is filtered out here. From this page, the easiest way to get to ad history is to scroll down here to the bottom of the ads and click on the Track This Keyword's Ad History button. Alright, here we are. What you're seeing is the complete history of every domain that has bought an ad on the keyword Free Credit Report any time in the last year. Each of the colored rows is a timeline showing whether we saw that domain advertising in that month. When you mouse over any of the colored boxes, you can see the ad position and the exact date right down to the hour that we pulled our snapshot. You can also look back even further in time. See this bonus history link? If you click here, you can go back as far as June of 2006. Now, that's an insane amount of history. You can't find that anywhere else. And to be perfectly honest, you'll probably rarely use anything beyond the first year for your day-to-day execution. But when you do need to dig deeper, with SpyFu, you know it's always there. Alright, here's where it gets exciting. We automatically sort the domains with the most consistent, highest ranked ads at the top. These are the guys that are getting the most clicks, paying the most, and most likely making a killing. And we're going to see exactly how they built their winning formula. See how the color changes from light purple to darker and back again for freecreditreport.com? Every time that box changes colors, that means that they changed their ad copy. Let's take a look at how they tested and improved their ad copy over time to squeeze out not just clicks, but conversions. Because you know these guys at freecreditreport.com are making money on this keyword. They've been dominating this very competitive, very expensive keyword for years. They're almost always in the #1 position. They're definitely spending thousands of dollars a day on this one keyword. So let's see what they did. In June of 2008, they started with the ad, Free Credit Check. See your credit report in seconds. Easy to read and viewable online. The next month, they changed the headline to read Free Credit Report. If we scroll all the way to the present, you can see that they never went back to Free Credit Check. Now, I suspect that the reason that they made the change was because Free Credit Report was probably more successful than the words Free Credit Check. I'll put that in the back of my mind and see if we can validate that in a minute. Anyway, let's see what they did in August. Completely changed their ad copy. The only thing they kept was the headline. Now, that tells me something about this advertiser, by the way. They're very actively trying new things. They aren't content just to tweak their existing ad copy. That's really nice to find. It means they've done a lot of work that I can benefit from, and it makes their final best result even more meaningful. Moving on, in September, they tried something completely new again. Then they stuck with it in October. What that means to me, since these guys are active enough to make a change at least monthly, is that the new ad copy worked better than the ad that they ran in August, and the one they ran in July. It's not just that the one in August sucked. They could have gone back to the one in July. This new ad variation is better than the old one precisely because they stuck with it. One thing that stands out to me about this new ad variation is the use of $0. It's kind of an explicit way of saying free, only it doesn't get lost. Free has been almost reduced to the status of a pronoun. I'm curious to see whether they continue to use it. I'm going to tuck that into the back of my mind too. Okay, in November they made a fairly small tweak. They went from asking whether you know your credit score to see yours in 2 easy steps. But they stuck with the $0 thing. It looks like after a lot of experimentation, freecreditreport.com found a winning combination. They threw in one holiday-specific variant in January, but more or less stuck with what they've got. Now let's take a look at the number 2 advertiser, freecreditreportsinstantly.com. Just glancing real quickly at their ads, I can see that they don't experiment as much as freecreditreport.com. They're making relatively minor adjustments to what is probably a pretty profitable campaign for them. But let's see what we can learn. Between June and July last year, they changed their ad copy from something that looks and reads kind of like a sloppy sentence to something more punchy like a headline. They also de-emphasize the speed at which they deliver their report, i.e. the 60 seconds part, and emphasize the fact that the credit report is current. They pretty much stick with that idea, but what happens in November? Booyah! See that? They start using that $0 thing too. And what's even more exciting is that once they start using it, they never go back. I think that's some pretty serious evidence that the $0 thing works. The other thing I think is interesting, pretty crazy actually, I did some digging, and before freecreditreport.com used $0 on the keyword free credit report, no major industry player had ever done so before. Since then, 3 of the top 4 advertisers tried and switched to the $0 thing. CreditReport.com is the other one that switched. They did it in January 2009 and again, never looked back. So what's going on here is that each of these advertisers is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And guess what? They're learning from their competitors, taking what works and making it their own. Now, I'm not here to tell you whether what these guys are doing is fair or right or just. But this is the way the game is played. And I am here to give you all the tools you need to win, to give you every advantage you can get, and to make you smarter, wealthier, and more confident amidst uncertainty. In the next video, we'll tackle uncertainty head on. Because as you've seen, ad history is a powerful tool, but it doesn't exactly slap you in the face with the answers. It's not a clock or a ruler. There's a lot less black and white, and a lot more gray and purple and blue and green. The next video is all about using ad history as a hunch machine. That is, a tool to inspire and track down hunches.